Howdy, ready to roll.
Let's do it.
This is the Drive-In Podcast, episode 48, take one. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome to the 48th episode of the Drive-In Podcast. On today's episode, we have the Express Checkup with yours truly, Dr. O. We have our review of Disney's Jungle Cruise. Then we have our top billing draft of our most anticipated movies for the rest of 2021. So use the bathroom now, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the 48th episode of the Drive-In Podcast. Episode 48 is here. I am joined by Ricky Flicks. Nez is on hiatus for this episode. Flicks, how you been, man?
Not bad, Dr. O. Not bad. As you saw on Twitter, it was my birthday, so thank you. Thank you for all you reaching out and saying happy birthday to myself. So thank you. But yeah, just watching movies still, of course. How about yourself, Doc? How you been?
I'm doing great. I went to Miami last week, so I missed my first segment in 48 episodes. I was mad that I couldn't record it when I was in Miami. I would have had to bring my mic, my computer, all that jazz. But you did a great job filling in last week, Flicks. My intern for
Med student.
the Express Checkup, right? Yes, the med student. I like that. Little Grey's Anatomy action. How are you? Flicks, I wanted to bring up, I saw a tweet. Guardians of the Galaxy came out 7 years ago today. And I have a take about that movie. Is that the most universally liked movie in recent memory?
Not just superhero, you're saying.
Just like people, like there's not one person that I think that says, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't like this movie, right? So like Twitter is so divisive whenever you talk about movies. If I've learned anything from being on movie Twitter the last year and a half, I would say it's just completely divisive. When it comes to that movie, no one has a harsh take on it, I would say.
I don't know. I listen.
Are you saying you don't like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Whoa. Let's take a step back here. I love that movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. Great movie. But if we just take a step back here, we think of divisive Twitter here and just arguments for argument's sake. Doesn't have a great villain. Ronan, not great villain. Dance off to save the universe. To be honest, that's a terrible climax. So
right. So you're nitpicking. I'm talking about
those are pretty big nitpicks. But here. Your climax and your villain.
What I'm saying is, yes, movies have their flaws. Almost every movie you can pick out flaws. That's fine. Superhero movies especially. But usually superhero movies people are very critical of because they dominate the mainstream media. And that movie, I've never seen someone on Twitter say Guardians of the Galaxy trash. No one has ever said that. So I also was thinking, like, what are some other movies that are just universally liked? Everyone just accepts them.
Dark Knight.
That's like the other one I thought of immediately. But even that one, you get like someone like you get the contrarians that start saying Dark Knight Rises or Batman Begins is better, right? Like no one, like some people might say Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is better than the first one. That's a harsh take. That's something I don't want to be a part of. But that's something I actually pose that question a lot to people, even though I'm a Guardians of the Galaxy 1 guy. But I would say Dark Knight is on that list. Any other ones pop in your mind? Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street's up there, but some even say it's just long. I'm just thinking of classics now. I'm thinking Shawshank, but then people are saying they've seen it too many times now because it's always on cable.
That one's like people have seen it so many times that it's going to have like those takes now. Like,
right,
people
and same with
start hating on it.
Right, and you can say the same thing with Forrest Gump. Like always, same year. But just because it's on all the time, people are going to start not liking it. And Guardians, it's still a superhero movie. And it's just like superhero movies in general are popcorn movies. They're action movies. So they're always going to be just for enjoyment and entertainment, not necessarily diving into the art of film like a Shawshank or a Forrest Gump does. But those, I think people won't get sick of a Guardians movie.
Yeah, I agree. And like maybe they will in like 10 years or something. It's only been 7 years. It feels like it's been like 15 years since the first one came out.
It does feel like it's been forever.
But like soon enough, we're getting the holiday special. Then we're getting Guardians of the Galaxy 3. James Gunn coming out with the Suicide Squad. Excuse me.
Right.
Review next week, Flicks. How pumped are you?
Oh, wait. Review next week or the week after?
Oh, is it week after? Yeah.
Because we have Green Knight too. Both films are getting insane reviews.
That's why this
So
top billing is going to be so awesome today. It's just like 2021 is shaking. The second half of 2021 is going to be unlike any other movie I think we've ever seen, dude. It like the
right.
amount, the stack lineup. I know we were trying to organize like what movies are we going to review in certain weeks. We're going to have to do double reviews. There's just so many highly anticipated films that are coming out.
Right. And you mentioned the holiday special for Guardians. I don't know if you were going to mention that in the checkup.
No.
Well, they said it's going to be less than an hour, but
40 minutes.
right. And it's going to have implications on the next Guardians movie. So it's going to be something that you'll have to see, but it's like basically it's less than a television show that's streaming on Disney Plus right now. So it's going to be James Gunn and the whole crew. So it's going to be great. Sorry, go ahead.
I got a feeling like for the holiday special, it's going to be like Star-Lord just explaining what Christmas is the entire time because they don't know what Christmas is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, are they going to be on Earth then? Probably.
He's going to tell them that Kevin Bacon's Santa Claus.
Oh. And David Hasselhoff never gave him any gifts.
Shake my head. But what were you going to say before we get to the checkup?
Yeah. One last thing. So I got this question from one of our listeners this week, a little trivia. Ooh. And it was Jenna. Jenna, thank you. Longtime listener of the Drive-In Podcast. This is a great question. I actually got it, but I had to think a long time about it. But I'm not going to give you the same amount of time, Dr. O, but this was her question. What is the highest grossing independent film that is also the highest grossing romantic comedy?
Independent film that's a romantic comedy?
Yes. So like what? So I'll say it again. What is the highest grossing independent film that is also
so Crazy Rich Asians wouldn't be an independent film? That's
correct.
That's mainstream. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So again, what is the highest grossing independent film that is also the highest grossing romantic comedy?
What a small niche that is. Let's think here. I was just thinking about The Spectacular Now recently, with Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley, but that wouldn't be it. Romantic comedies, man. We should ask our sister Peyton. She's a huge rom-com girl. We'll have to have her on for a top billing. No, just give it to me. I don't always say more time.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh my gosh, Big Fat Greek Wedding. What a throwback.
But I wanted to say this because I got this as a hint, because she got it as a hint when she was asked this question, and it threw me off. And this is why like my Big Fat Greek Wedding wasn't my original guess, is because their hint was that it was a trilogy. My Big Fat Greek Wedding is a trilogy after this year because that third movie's coming out this year, or it's right now in the works. So it's not yet a trilogy, but they used that as a hint and it threw everybody up. That throws you off.
I was gonna say I thought that movie already came out, to be honest. I just thought no one.
Oh, did it? Oh, maybe it did.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying I wouldn't even know if it came out. Like I'm not a Big Fat Greek Wedding. I'm not a big fan of that franchise, if we're gonna call it a franchise, that trilogy. I'm not buying any Big Fat Greek Wedding shirts or anything like that. But if you gave me 20 minutes, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah. But thank you again, Jenna, longtime listener. Now we can get to the checkup.
Let's check the audiences up. Giddy up. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for a breach of contract over the release of Black Widow. The film was released simultaneously on the service Disney Plus and in theaters. The suit claims that an agreement was broke between the star and the company. The suit alleges that Johansson agreed that her salary for the film would be based in large part on the film's box office haul. There are also whispers Emma Stone is looking to take legal action against Disney over Cruella. Get your popcorn ready, folks. We have a battle on our hands. Next up on the checkup, Taika Waititi is writing a live-action remake for Flash Gordon. The movie initially was set to be an animated film, now going to be live action. Love to see it. There's no news yet on the casting, but Zach Wilson, are you around, guy? Quarterback, New York Jets. Next up, Tom Hanks has been cast in Wes Anderson's next film. Dear God, please make sure we have a Bill Murray and Tom Hanks team up. Need to see it. Next on the checkup, Tobey Maguire has signed on for Damien Chazelle's upcoming film, Babylon. This will be Tobey Maguire's first on-screen appearance in a film since Pawn's Sacrifice back in 2014. That is, if we don't see him in Spider-Man No Way Home. Moving on. Welcome back, Toby. Moving on. Finally, Clifford the Big Red Dog. It's been delayed indefinitely. Over concerns about the Delta variant of COVID-19. We're not closing up theaters again, folks. Please don't bring it up. Bring it on us. I think it's a smart move to delay this because obviously Clifford is going to crush at the box office, huh? We also have a trailer roundup for this week. Massive trailer roundup week. we had our first glimpse at Ridley Scott's House of Gucci. The film boasts a stacked ensemble, including Lady Gaga, Adam Driver, Jared Leto, Salma Hayek, Jeremy Irons, and Al Pacino. That's what I'm talking about. The story focuses on the turbulent marriage and divorce of Patricia and Mauricio Gucci, the head of the Gucci fashion house. The film is set to be released in theaters on November 21st, 2021. Next trailer, guess what? More Ridley Scott. We had The Last Duel. The film reunites the Boston boys, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and also stars, once again, Adam Driver and Jodie Comer. The synopsis reads, a woman claims she's been raped by her husband's best friend, Jean de Caroget, but no one believes her accusation. Her husband challenges his friend to a duel. Simple. The movie drops in theaters October 15, 2021. Lastly, we had another fire trailer, right? We had Netflix's upcoming film, The Card Counter. The film stars Oscar Isaac, Ty Sheridan, Willem Dafoe, and Tiffany Haddish. It'll be directed by Paul Schrader. The synopsis reads, a card shark encounters an angry young man who's seeking revenge against a military colonel. The film releases September 10th, 2021. We had a fat checkup today, Ricky Flicks. Which headline captures your attention most?
You said it was fat. Honestly,
With PH.
Besides the trailer roundup, I'm gonna go with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, let's focus on the checkup first, and then we'll go trailer roundup after.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire did not see this coming. I think he's gonna appear in a different film coming up later this year. Spider-Man: No Way From Home. If you haven't been listening to the pod, highly
Start on
talked
the
about.
checkup.
But he's got to be going in that. But besides that, Damien Chazelle, hot name on the streets and director wise, film making wise, and he's going to be teaming up with him. So he's back. Toby's back.
So I was thinking about like the last thing I saw Tobey Maguire, and that was like that I saw in theaters, and I had to go back to Great Gatsby. I think it was the last time I saw him. He played Nick Carraway, right? And Baz Luhrmann's movie with starring obviously Leo DiCaprio. So it's good that we're having him back. He's such a huge name, Tobey Maguire, and the fact that he hasn't been in a movie in 7 years is beyond wild. That's beyond wild. I think he had a voiceover in The Boss Baby back in 2017.
The narrator.
Yeah, it's just like what the heck? How did he get that role in the first place? But I also saw that video on Twitter where they said like Spider-Man is in it was like Central Park or something, or some park in LA too.
Yeah,
it could be one or the other. And like they were like Spider-Man's in the park. Spider-Man's in the park. He was looking fit, man. Maybe he's in the gym, ready for Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just you said Great Gatsby, number one, great soundtrack. 2,
Fire.
that's a 2013 movie. Oh my god.
Yeah,
8 years ago.
And like, did you see Pawn Sacrifice? Did you see that one?
No. Bobby
I can't
Fischer.
say.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen that.
Searching for Bobby Fischer with Ben Kingsley. That's a good movie.
But like, there's something we really should be excited for. I think Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie are already in that cast for Babylon.
Yes.
I know initially it was supposed to be Emma Stone. I think she had to drop out of the film. Damien Chazelle doesn't miss. We go to La La Land. We go to Whiplash. We go to even First Man. Right, the guy doesn't miss. He hasn't dropped off.
First Man is it's got every time I see it, it gets better.
And it's not the same level as like a La La Land. I love La La Land. I like one of the best opening scenes in the history of cinema, in my opinion. Then like you see the iconic dancing with Emma Stone and Gosling, like so good too. I also want to talk about flicks. We got to talk about Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon getting a remake. Thank God it's not animated. I was telling you off air, if any old movie needed a remake or a reboot, I think it's Flash Gordon.
Or like another try.
Right, another try, because like it has like cult status, I guess. It's super.
It was
corny.
in Ted.
Yeah, it's that just shows you
to Ming.
That gave it a revitalization, right, with society.
For sure.
Like Sam Jones like made a comeback because of Ted. But that movie is so crappy. It's so crappy. And imagine putting a modern spin on it. It could look awesome. Like imagine like have James Gunn, like what he does with like think of Guardians of the Galaxy space and like what he does with visuals, think Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It could end up being a really cool movie, Ricky Flicks. And then Taika Waititi, like the man just doesn't stop working. He's doing Star Wars, right? He's now moving on to this. And then he's
Next Goal Wins.
Next Goal Wins with Army Hammer and is it Fassbender? Fast Train?
Oh, yes, sir.
Fast Train, let's go. But I'm excited. Like that's gonna be something I think a lot of people like judge like, oh, we shouldn't make all these reboots of old movies. That's an old movie that deserves a reboot because you can improve on it vastly from the original, in my opinion.
Unbelievable theme song that's still played to this day. it's gotten, like you said, cult status, but also a rejuvenated cult status, and even a modern, like people like us that didn't grow up with Flash Gordon or anything like that, or Sam
Right.
Jones on the New York Jets, but we know what it is because of Ted or like our parents or whatnot. So it's definitely the time to make it. And if Taika Waititi is attached to it, so many people are going to see it just because of that reason itself. And Chris Hemsworth, Sam Jones alternative, like that kind of looks the part, and he
He
obviously
looks like
has
an
the
NFL
experience.
quarterback, you know?
Yeah, or
You know.
just a monster dude,
Yeah.
like just a monster dude that has blonde
Mhm.
hair and long blonde hair again. And Thor: Love and Thunder is back, so definitely looking forward to that. I don't know if there's a different thing on the checkup you wanted to mention, but I know there's at least one more thing I wanted to mention too.
Well, I want to say I want to bring up the Scarlett Johansson thing suing Disney.
Mhm.
I know it's dominating the news right now. I don't want to put out any like harsh take on this because in my opinion, like these guys all make so much money. Like she got paid $20 million to make the movie. Like I know like it's a breach of contract, right? You're taken aside, like it's a matter of principle. And you made $20 million off the movie. It's so much money, dude. So much money.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
RDJ. That's RDJ money.
Oh, I thought RDJ was like 60 million or
Yeah, no, yeah,
something.
no. Eventually, he was there. Like he eventually
Yeah,
got to like they couldn't afford him. Like it was just done. Like I
I
went, I get like that's probably why he's not in What If either. He's just like it would go to easy paycheck, but like Disney's like, nah, we can't pay you.
well, Tom Holland's not on What If either. That came out today as well.
So that
But I think, all right. So I'll start with saying yes. She obviously is loaded, like 20 million,
yeah,
and Colin Jost is her husband. So like obviously the combination of them, like they have enough money. But I will say two things to kind of defend her a little bit, to play the little devil's advocate.
Mhm.
One, you look at what Warner Brothers did with like Gal Gadot and like they and Patty Jenkins, they sorted it out beforehand to say, hey, we'll give you this X amount of money so we could split this between theaters and streaming.
Right.
Disney just hasn't done that. They think they're just above everybody, which they kind of are, but like still,
Mhm.
like that's just a something that says, hey, maybe I don't want to work with you anymore. Maybe they wouldn't be able to get a Scarlett Johansson in the future. I don't think that. I'm just playing devil's advocate. And then the other thing I was going to say is, what do we talk about on the Black Widow review? We spoke that it took Disney 10 plus years to make a Black Widow movie. And obviously, there was some management issues, like sexist directors that were
They're
at the
doing her
helm,
dirty.
and they didn't get her film before. And she could have, if this film came out even 5 years ago, she would have made like from box office numbers would have been insane.
Yeah.
But she deserves more money because she should have had that 5 years ago. But now she got screwed when finally she has her own movie. It's coming out during a pandemic. So I understand why she's doing it, but I just find it interesting that now Emma Stone's thinking about it. I know
Mhm.
The Rock came out this week and said he's not going to do that, but maybe Emily Blunt's thinking, hey, like I might not do a superhero gig. This is my paycheck here that I'm doing. I need my money here. And she got kind of screwed over with A Quiet Place 2 this year as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I agree with your points, man. Like yes, I made the point she did make a lot of money, but she could have made a lot more. I agree with
Right.
that aspect. And
And
then
she got done dirty beforehand, like you
yeah,
mentioned.
yeah, she didn't treat she's not being treated right by Disney at all. I don't know if you saw Disney's response to like
Harsh.
the response that they came out with publicly was that they basically said that Scarlett Johansson's insensitive to COVID-19.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they put that out there, that's embarrassing. Like
For
she has been with she's been in Marvel movies back in 2010. She's been with 11 years. And as we said before, she's been treated so poorly already by the studio. And then this happens. Like this is
right.
and so I understand why Kevin Feige is like embarrassed for Disney as well. And he
Yeah.
thinks it's just a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. And what, like, obviously Warner Brothers, like we always mock them, like the direction they always take. But what's
Yeah.
the one thing they did well? They came out with woman-led movies, like superhero movies before Marvel. And even though Marvel had women superheroes in movies, they didn't have them as the lead. They were too afraid, like for stupid reasons. And Wonder Woman, big success, but came out way before a Captain Marvel or any other Marvel-led woman-led superhero movie. So that's one thing Warner Brothers has done well, is they treated their non-directors, but their actors fairly for the most part.
Yeah, and then like
Money-wise.
also we could have easily we knew this was coming. Like when we like the idea of like with the idea of like box office versus like streaming numbers, like you knew this clash was eventually going to happen between actors who usually get paid obviously percentages of a box office like by the studio. So like we knew this was coming, and this is fine. It's like I think this is like the start of something that's going to continue for a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Dude, we got to talk about some trailers, Flex. We got to talk about House of Gucci. Father, son, House of Gucci. What do we think of that trailer, dude?
So I've watched it a few times now. I'm still mesmerized by how Jared Leto, like that guy, he just doesn't, he can't be himself in a role. He has to look different. He has to, whether it's the Joker, Blade Runner 2049, Dallas Buyers Club, this movie, like or Little Things. He just can't be his normal self. He has to either put on 1,000 pounds.
He's addicted to wearing costumes, dude.
Yeah, wearing a fake bodysuit, putting on makeup and Joker costume, dye his hair green, just something weird. He's got to do something weird. He's doing it again, but he's doing it with Ridley Scott. I'm excited for that. See if he could kind of just get his career back going in the right direction.
Yeah, because like if we look at the times that he actually does, like whether he gains 127 pounds for basically gains 200 pounds to pay Mark David Chapman in a garbage movie, or he does in The Little Things, another garbage movie, but somehow is nominated for a Golden Globe. But he in The Joker, obviously like a frowned upon appearance as the Joker, and like his method skills, his method strategy. So it's just kind of funny that like he goes all out for these roles, but the movies usually don't pan out. This one though, he actually had the best accent out of all of them. And I actually wrote a blog. I wrote a blog about this. I took like everyone was worshiping this trailer just because like people love Lady Gaga. They adore Lady Gaga
and a star-studded cast.
I took it down a peg. Yeah, it was a solid trailer. Yes, I'm excited for it. Huge names, but dude, the accents were so bad. I thought Lady Gaga was Russian in this movie. Like that's the way she sounded, man. But and at the same time, I will say in a positive light, some people are ripping on the song. I thought the song worked so well in this trailer. I thought the song was fire, right?
I did too.
It matched up well. You got Lady Gaga strutting with the fur coat and the Gucci, and then you got like the camera lights flashing. It's like this film is gonna be so much flash and pizzazz. It's gonna be something.
Yeah, completely agree. Not only is Gucci just such a well-known brand around the world, and just people are obsessed with that brand, and so they're going to see it just for that. But then you add Lady Gaga, Jared Leto, Jeremy Irons, Al Pacino, Adam Driver, all these stars that are not just from one generation, but from so many different generations, and also some that are rising stars, some have fallen stars, or just some that used to be great and they're still great, but they don't do like the run-of-the-mill normal amount of movies every year, like Al Pacino or Jeremy Irons. So just so many different types of talents coming together here that I can't wait to see them on the big screen. And honestly, I did really like the trailer, but I kind of agree with you. I thought it was a little overrated, but still, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Right. And then like Lady Gaga, like she's like, it's crazy. Like these are all Oscar winners except for Adam Driver. And I think Adam Driver is the one I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah.
And it's going to be nuts because I think Lady Gaga, people loved her in A Star Is Born. I personally, I love Shallow, absolute bop. But if I'm looking at her performance, I thought Bradley Cooper lapped her in A Star Is Born.
I agree with that.
I thought she wasn't bad. I don't think she really deserved an Oscar nomination. I think that was way, way too much. I think her winning best song was enough. Like, that's just like that. She has a golden statue.
Yeah.
But she's good. She's like, you're inserting her next to Al Pacino, Adam Driver. It was just
elevate her game.
It was just her and Bradley Cooper before. It's just like one-on-one. So it might have been, I don't know. I guess it's a lot of pressure on you if you're going one-on-one with Bradley Cooper.
For sure.
When you're surrounded by all those people, I guess she's going to blend in a little bit better, I guess, if that makes sense.
I agree. I think it'll be easier to play off each other and act with each other rather than just like with a run-of-the-mill normal actor, average actor, right? You're going with all these Oscar winners or just worthy, or besides Adam Driver, who's obviously one of the biggest actors right now. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for that movie, and it might get drafted later.
Oh yeah. Definitely might be on there. All three trailers might get drafted, to be honest. And like the card counter, I want to talk about quick. Oscar Isaac agreed to shine some light on our guy. I'm so shocked that I saw him having a relationship with Tiffany Haddish in this movie. I was so thrown off. I didn't even know she was in the movie. When I saw that, when I saw her in, I was just like, "What is going on?"
You think she's a comedian, but then she's like trying to be an all-around actress, and I love it. Like, I love just people just taking leaps out of their comfort zone, or quote unquote comfort zone, like what we think is their comfort zone, right? Because we know what they are good at already and what they usually do. But it's like Will Ferrell when he does a serious role. I say this every other podcast. He's Sandler, so good at serious actors. Sandler, like, I love seeing that, just them going quote unquote out of their comfort zone, or just something that we're not accustomed to them seeing. And this is just might be another case where she might just hit this out of the park. She's working with Oscar Isaac, again, like similar level. I wouldn't say as high as Adam Driver, but close. And Willem Dafoe, another non-Oscar winner, but one of the best actors in the past 20, 30 years.
I mean, they have unbelievable, like she has unbelievable talent around her, and I think she's gonna kill it. I think like she looks really good in it. Like it's like I guess it's kind of similar to Lady Gaga, but Tiffany Haddish just has way more experience. Like she's an actual actress.
Exactly, and improv like, from comedy and everything like that. She can it's easier for her.
Right, and then Paul Schrader directing. Then we also have the same writer as for Raging Bull, same writer as Raging Bull, which is so I think she has some good material to work with.
Definitely.
I think that does it for the checkup this week, Ricky Flex. All right, anything else you want to talk about?
I would just say Last Duel trailer came out as well.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Jodie Comer. Like
Jesus,
another Ridley Scott movie too.
I know that has me a little nervous. Like he's working on those two movies back to back. Like it makes me think one is going to be significantly worse than the other. It's like, where's his focus? Like two are coming out at the same time. It makes me kind of shaky about it. You know, I know like they probably edit it. Like, it was separate. Like it's not like he's working on like maybe he's not working directly on those movies at the same time, but like he could be. Probably.
I think with the pandemic, obviously changed things and. Like I could either see two things. One is it allowed him time to focus on one more than the other, or just like one then the next one, whatever is coming out first, and face like budget constraints or deadlines constraints. But the other way is what you're saying. But I think he's just too experienced of a director to with this much talent around him to mess this up.
He doesn't have a best directing win either at the Oscars. Like he's like a long-time nominee. He's one of those guys. Like he's gonna be deserved. Like he might get like House of Gucci might be his like Scorsese's Departed, where he finally got the Oscar. You know what I mean?
And let's just remind the audience here who wrote The Last Duel. It's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. What was the last movie they wrote together? Oh, they won an Oscar.
Hunting, a little movie called Good Will Hunting.
Right. So it's like he has great writers behind him. It's just about him putting the pieces together. And I'm not afraid from Ridley Scott, someone that should have an Oscar already, for God's sakes. Right. But he has a best picture.
He has some misses, though.
Of course. Because he puts out so many movies. It's not like a Scorsese or like someone that doesn't put out as many movies. But yeah.
Yeah. He's got higher volume for sure. That does it for the checkup this week. Now let's move on to our review of Disney's Jungle Cruise. All right, Ricky Flex, Jungle Cruise. All right, we went to the theaters today, our hometown theater. We'll get into a little theater review right off the top, but let me just give you some information on the movie. We got Jungle Cruise, 63% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. That's not bad. We also have we have The Rock, we got Emily Blunt, we got our plump boy Jesse Plemons, right? We got Edgar Ramirez. Yes. So let's get into the synopsis. Dr. Lily Houghton enlists the aid of wisecracking skipper Frank Wolf to take her down the Amazon in his ramshackle boat. Together, they search for an ancient tree that holds the power to heal, a discovery that will change the future of medicine. Okay? So, Flex, we saw this in theaters. Okay? We were a little taken back when we saw this in theaters. When we sat down, ambiance was very nice in the theater. It was very vibrant, right? Colors galore. They had a bar, right? Huge popcorn machine. But when we get into our seats, what happened, Flex?
Someone was in our seat, first of all.
Oh, yes. Someone was in our seat. So already ruined. Some girl and her kids thinking like you could just pick any seat in the movie theater. I'm like, have you been like, even that was pre-pandemic. That was way before. You know, you don't do that. You don't steal another man's movie seat.
We had like the best seats, like center stage, near the top. Like we had the best seats. So
talk when the screen came on, what happened?
There wasn't a trailer. There wasn't any trailers.
Zero trailers. We didn't even have Maria Menounos. We had nothing. Nothing.
They went straight into the movie right on time. And hey, like some people hate the trailers, but in a movie with The Rock, Emily Blunt, Jesse Plemons, like all these big stars. Yes, I said Jesse Plemons as a big star. Get over it. But when theaters this, how much money this movie made a decent amount at the box office. I think it beat estimates. But it's like, hey, if you want to keep movie theaters alive here, we're trying to do that. We're trying to get people to see it. how about you show some movies that are going to be coming out in theaters soon to have people come back? Like the movies that don't have The Rock or Emily Blunt in them, but they look good because someone saw a trailer here. Like,
Unbelievable.
I can't believe they did this. And I thought, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, not to mention, like when we sat down, people were arriving late to the movie. And I was getting so agitated, bro. When they started flipping on their lights, their flashlights on their phones. I'm like, dude, you're in my face right now. I'm trying to watch The Rock kicks up like to fight a tiger, and you're flashing a flashlight in my face.
Yeah, because
Get out of here.
You're saying, oh, should we go to the 3:30 show or should we go to the 5, or should we go see this movie today? It's like 3:15. You're 15 minutes away from the theater. You can say, oh yeah, we could just skip the trailers this time. Nope. 15 minutes in, you already lose like The Rock's backstory or Emily Blunt's, but whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just like
it was her first.
Crap. Right. It was her first. But yeah, and I thought you were gonna mention the other thing actually before the trailer stunt. The seats. We had great seats. They're the classic seat cushioned recline, whatever. But they made sound when you moved, like a squeaking sound when you moved it either forward or backwards.
It was a fart noise. It made a fart sound. It made it sound like it was a 20-second fart. It's like it was Step Brothers level where Seth Rogen's like a fart. Like it was that level, and then it was making the same noises. It was doing little squeaks. I'm just like, I can't do this during the movie. People are gonna think I'm ripping ripping farts the entire time. Just embarrassing.
Right, like they were mad comfortable, but like
I didn't make sure I found my spot.
Sound. Right,
I didn't make sure I found like my angle for my legs, how elevated I want to be. So I don't want to make that sound during the movie.
Of course. So I completely agree with you there. Like, how to figure out your spot. It was comfortable, but. And for a movie theater where you're trying to promote not using phones, I know Matt Damon went on a rant today about people texting during a movie and how phones are like ruining going to see a movie.
Yeah.
But I
didn't look at mine once.
I literally got a notification from that. And I looked at my phone during the movie to look at that. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And put it down.
God damn it. Come on, Flicks. Let's get into some knee-jerk reactions. So, like, Flicks, you walk out of the theater. What's going through your mind after seeing Jungle Cruise?
I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, all right, that was worth seeing. Like, that was good in the theater. That was good. I'm not going to say it was a masterpiece or anything. I wouldn't even say it's really good. I'm not going to say it's good, as in like, oh, that was just a good movie. I'll just say, oh, I was entertained. I followed along. I think you said outside walking out of the theater, I don't want to steal what you were going to say, but you were like, oh, it had its Disney moments. And I think that's what we wanted out of this. It had its Disney moments. It had the stars come out of the screen. I do think it was just kind of odd seeing like a Jesse Plemons and a Paul Giamatti, like two great actors that are just good at acting on this type of level. Like, it seems like they're like overqualified for these roles. And I just didn't like how they did that. And they stumped to this level. They probably just wanted a paycheck, or Plemons just wanted to play a villain or a Disney flick. I don't know. Especially with his movies coming out, and that's the next segment, I know, but it's just, I was a little shocked. I don't know. How about yourself?
I thought it was a great movie if you're gonna watch, like, you want to take your family out on a Sunday matinee. It's perfect. I thought it was literally that. I remember like when the movie actually ended. This is where, you know, Disney, like, this is what they live for. There's this kid who stood up and he turned to his parents and then he said, "That's my favorite movie." He said, I was like, damn, I wish I had that, like, that same vibe. And I was like, I wish I had that now, where I stood, I'm like, that's my new favorite movie.
Every time you see a movie.
Now it's like I see a trailer, I'm like, that's going to be my favorite movie.
Right.
Just like when we saw Wolf of Wall Street, like, that's gonna be my favorite movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do that trailers now, not the actual movie.
But it was nice to see a Disney movie. It felt like it was like Disney sprinkles. Like, it was like stars that just like they just sprinkled Disney all over. It just had that vibe to it. Super positive, super predictable, happy ending and everything as expected. But I wanted to say, I want to talk about the tone of this movie a little bit in terms of like how like I guess not the tone, more the style, because like I got the vibe it was going for like an Indiana Jones type of feel, whether by the action sequences, the stunts, the score of the movie. It was like very high up tempo, and I really think it nailed that. If they were going for that, and I assume they are, it nailed that Indiana Jones vibe. You think?
Yeah, I think it was trying for that. I do think it kind of lost its way with that a bit, for so many different themes they were just throwing at you kind of on the side, like with McGregor's character, and just like and also with Emily Blunt, and then also Emily Blunt's character. Like, they had so many different like serious themes in this Disney entertainment film, like for kids, really like 5-year-olds best movies ever seen. But then again, they were going for the Indiana Jones vibe. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, let's just keep it like simple here. If you want to do that,
Right.
that's fine. But let's just make it like a different type of movie then.
And then you mentioned like the too many themes. I thought in terms of like there was almost too much going on during this movie. There's like so many. It's like first of all, there's plot hole galore, and especially in the beginning of the movie, a lot of plot holes in this.
And
movie.
the ending,
like, obviously, we're there to be. We're there to be entertained. Like they just skipped the whole travel back. They skipped the whole travel back,
and they didn't have a boat.
But I was gonna say there's also just like it should be. I read the synopsis. It was not that simple watching the movie. Like I read that synopsis. Like there was so much other stuff going on. You have to get this like this arrowhead, and then you have to go use it to get to a tree, but we don't know what the tree does. And then you have all these other characters, and the Rock is throwing people, and like he's throwing people in ditches. Like he's putting spells out. Like it was just like there's just a lot of stuff going on. You know,
when they got to the tree, I was expecting like because in the flashback sequences they were sipping the thing to cure them of their health.
Yeah,
they weren't using petals. Like flower petals was like you put it in the mouth, and then but in the flashbacks it wasn't. Now? Yeah, so is it not like a juice or whatever? It's the petals. Like it was just nothing was clear. Like it wasn't clear at all. Not a lot of things weren't clear in this movie.
So it was a very jumbled. If I had to put it in a word, it was a mess. Like it was a mess. but if I had to talk about the aspects I did enjoy, I thought the performances from Emily Blunt and The Rock were great. I think they really locked in. Like The Rock, he was just being himself, like charismatic. It felt like he was doing all these pun jokes that I was getting a little tired of. The way he acted in this movie, it felt like he was taking an Instagram like video of himself talking to Kevin Hart.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I thought the same thing. I was like I felt like I was watching the ad for him saying, "Go see this movie in theaters."
Right. Yeah. And like him with his sunglasses on. I was just like, hey, well, Terramana tequila. Here you go. Here's my mom drinking Terramana tequila. But instead of Kevin Hart, you had Emily Blunt being roasted nonstop. And I also got to talk about the worst joke of all time is the pants stick that was going on. It was like, yeah, we get it. It's 1916. Girls don't wear pants all the time. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
What?
But they would say, go get the girl with the pants. How about she's the only girl out of like a group of 4 guys? Just say, go get the girl. Like, why did you say go get the girl with the pants?
Pants is the worst nickname of all time too. So you kept calling her Pants.
Yeah, Skippy and Pants.
I felt that was so weird. Skippy, I could deal with that. That was fine, but not to like Emily Blunt. I think she is awesome in these type of roles. Like we go back to Mary Poppins Returns. Like she can do anything. She really is a superstar. And like, I mean, if I was John Krasinski, seeing like the chemistry that was going on with her and The Rock, it was pretty good in this movie. I'd be a little shaky. I'd be like, oh boy, The Rock, sexiest man alive, is like
he's older though. The Rock is older.
Sexiest man alive.
Yeah, I have confidence in John Krasinski. But well, you mentioned performances by those two. I'll say this: Jesse Plemons as the villain. Like I thought he was really good. I know he was obviously like a classic Disney villain, but I felt like he was just a better actor than any Disney villain that they put out in live action movies. He actually was very good. And I know I'm not just saying this because I like the guy. I actually do think he was really good in this movie, like acting wise.
I thought, first off, I think the accent, he stuck through it the entire time. Like,
it was incredible. Yeah, I don't know how he did that. And he was speaking German. I don't know if that was actually German, but it sounded like it.
And I think like he did a good job. And we talked about actors being versatile. We talked about Tiffany Haddish earlier. This is him saying, okay, I'm not just going to do all these artsy fartsy movies. I'm not chasing awards, even though he does do those movies. Like obviously he's going to be in Scorsese's next movie with DiCaprio and De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon. But this movie, it shows like he can have fun. Like he can have fun and do a character. Like
Game Night, this movie.
Game Night is another great example, right? So he's a super versatile actor. So I love that he has this on his resume. In terms of like a lot of plot holes in terms of his character's journeys, like how he gets to certain places and everything. But that's not his fault. And obviously the writing for this was just terrible. It was just not good.
Yeah.
But I couldn't agree more. And then like Paul Giamatti, he should have made our draft of best supporting actors. He really should have.
But he was like, why did he do this?
He had no reason to be in this movie.
And that's another plot hole at the end when he gets back. Is everything just okay between him and The Rock? How is
Yeah.
that possible?
He's like,
The
"Here's your
Rock
boat."
is the Rock literally ruined all his boats and restaurant and bar. Like his whole life is ruined. And he's like, oh, here's the keys to get out of the country or whatever the heck happened.
Right. And he's like, here, you can have the boat. The boat was destroyed. He
Yeah.
was just like, there was
Like,
no
what?
point. Like, how'd they get back? How'd they get back?
No
That's all I
one
gotta
knows.
say. I'm trying to be spoiler free here, but like how did they get back?
You can't
to
do
Brazil?
spoiler free for Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
I think we're doing spoiler free as in like, I think the big thing we've left out for the most part, but like, yeah, I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, we're not going to give away. There was a twist, and I did see it coming, I guess.
Oh yeah. We haven't mentioned that.
Yeah, there's a twist, and I did. It didn't really work in terms of like there were some reactions from The Rock prior to the big twist that made it like. So obviously they talk about like he's like the myth is real, like the myth is real. I'm like, dude, yeah, like you probably know that. Like it's just like it just made no sense. Like I'm not that's like me being as vague as possible, trying not to spoil it. But like, did you notice that too? Where it's just like, dude, like it didn't seem like he was putting on an acting job. He was just doing it. You know?
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I do think I thought The Rock was himself, his charismatic self. But yeah, like again, I'm not gonna like the plot holes, like I will take away from this movie but like I think that regarding the twist, honestly, it brought something different in a movie I just kind of just was watching like carelessly. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like focusing like full attention. I was focusing full attention, but like it's not like I was really trying. You know what I mean?
A whole new dimension to the movie. I think it did spice to it. Yeah, 100%, man.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. I thanks for jumping in there. Like I really think it needed something to get more of my attention, and that did the job.
Right, and like that, and then you learn more about The Rock's character. It's like his where he
comes
from, his side story. Like,
right, him in Spain in the 1500s, he looked like his Hercules self.
Hercules. Yeah. He looked the same. When I saw The Rock with that was also a spoiler.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
When I saw The Rock with hair, I was just thinking. I just laughed when I looked at you. I nudged you in the theater. I'm like, dude.
I didn't want to look at you because I think you were gonna make a crap ton of noise, like laughing and just ruin everybody's experience there.
I would have cackled. I was thinking about cackling. I was just gonna let it loose. Oh my gosh. I was thinking. So like that kind of pretty much covers our thoughts on the movie, I would say. But like I was also thinking, Flex, if you had to do another movie, like this movie was based on a ride at Disney World. So interesting. I know we talk about this idea of reboots and everything like that. I thought this was a great way that you're adapting some type of content into another piece where it's not something like a superhero comic book, something we've already seen. I thought it was pretty interesting. They did it on a ride. I think they did a pretty good job. What do you think about like how they adapted that ride and like on the big screen?
Yeah, so I think it barely had anything to do with the ride. The only thing that was similar to it was that The Rock was given tours, a Jungle Cruise tour, you know? So I think like you said, we're just seeing remakes and franchise movies from like some sort of scripted material beforehand. So I do like the creativity aspect of this, and I hope to see more creative things from Hollywood, just generating from a stupid idea like an amusement park ride. And I know we haven't been
iconic ride.
It's iconic, like an iconic ride, but like I didn't love it like when we went on it like 10 or 15 years ago, whatever, 10 years ago, but it's still iconic. So it makes sense to make a movie out of it. And I know we were walking out of the theater and the first poster we saw on the wall was the Jungle Cruise poster, and you were like, that's a great looking poster. Yeah, it is a great looking poster for a Disney movie with The Rock and Emily Blunt. Like that, it did its job. Just like at our theme park, it did its job, even though it wasn't the best ride ever.
Exactly. I like that. I was thinking, what was I gonna say? Like the ride, what I remember when we were in Disney, it was like a lot of pop-ups, like the movie was doing.
Yeah, like the hippo scene in the movie.
That's also why I think like that Indiana Jones vibe they're going for, that's exactly the style that they should have done. Just based on like booby traps, all right, like things flying by you and like the action adventure style. Like I literally thought they did it right. They did it right. And so I was impressed that they were able to kind of like take that idea. But if you had to like think about other like rides you've been on, what other movies would you make? I got a couple ideas cooking.
Just speaking from a Disney's perspective.
Doesn't have to be
Well,
Disney.
okay. Well, with the Six Flags New England one, King Ka, that
Yeah,
could be
not New
one.
England.
Oh, sorry. What did I say? New Jersey? New
New Jersey
Jersey.
one. New
Yeah.
Jersey.
That would be
King
one.
Ka. King Ka would be a sick movie.
Yeah, that I think that would be a really good one. I'm going back to Disney. Honestly, like
Tower of Terror. Tower of
Tower,
Terror.
yeah, Tower of Terror, but that's kind of isn't that off of like Twilight Zone or whatever? I know I haven't seen the Twilight Zone, so I
Oh,
can't like
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know, but I was thinking of that one. And also like what's the ride
Space
that
Mountain.
go Space Mountain, yeah. Not really Splash Mountain. That's kind of like the same thing as like this movie a little bit.
Mhm.
But the only other one I was thinking of was oh no, now I lost it.
What if
No, it's the one that goes really high and then drops down.
like Scream? Like
Is it called Scream? I don't know what it's called, but it just goes
where they
really
straight up and
high.
down?
Yeah.
Dude, when I went to Rolling Loud in Miami, they had rides at the festival. So
Oh,
I was
really?
lost with my friend. Yeah. So I lost some of my buddies. I was with one of my friends, and she says, "Oh, let's go on the coaster." And so we wanted the drop down. It's like a Scream type thing in the middle of Rolling Loud. It was great. It was kind of
Wow.
nuts.
Oh, I have another
I
one.
can't believe my stomach held together.
I have another one. You know that ride where you go in like a tube or with like a bunch of random people and you're just going around like a lazy river and then there's waterfalls and like who's gonna get splashed with the water? What if like there was like a movie where you like did a ride or like you got stuck in like a I don't know like a tube or like that or something and then like there was just like they locked you in or like it was like a horror film and like I don't know it doesn't have to be water but like acid or like whitewater rafting but
when I think of whitewater rafting in movies, you know what I think of is Vacation.
I was thinking the same thing. Charlie Day, Can't Live Without You. Harry Nilsson song.
I might have to. That movie is so bad, but I that scene I might YouTube after this. It's so funny. It's incredibly funny.
Oh, I'm about to get married.
So bad, but that one scene, great scene, bad movie.
Yeah, agree. Charlie Day, legend.
All right, you want to throw out a score here, Flex? You want me to go first or you?
You pick.
60. Okay, I gave it a straight up 60. Did the job. I think it knew what it was. The writing was terrible. Great lead performances, though. I'm excited. Like I feel like The Rock's getting better. Like he should be getting better. He's at this level where he's so recognized. I thought this was a layup role for him because of obviously we talked about how charismatic he is, how fun loving of a guy he is, and that he really came across that way in this movie. Even though he was kind of supposed to be a little bit of a jerk, even though he just didn't really come off that way.
He didn't at all.
Yeah, so I think he did well. And like I think it's what people want to see from The Rock, and he's even thrown in a couple wrestling moves too, like when he was fighting the tiger. I knew the crowd was gonna like that.
Yeah,
he did like a slam. He did like a over the shoulder slam. So I was digging that. And yeah, Emily Blunt, she always kills it. Like she like after like seeing her in a recent stuff, after seeing her Quiet Place Part 2, she's having a killer year right now. Can't wait to see what she does next. Jesse Plemons, awesome, 60 out of 100.
The CGI, you mentioned the animals. The CGI wasn't the best in this movie, I'll say too. It wasn't terrible.
Some of the editing was sketchy.
There were some skips, like actual like films, like screen skips. It was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I agree with you there. But yeah, so I gave this a 53. A 53. I think it did its job. I just don't think I can put it at 60 or above. Just we talked about it. So much going on, plot holes. I think The Rock just was himself, to be honest. I won't say he's doing better, but he did. I like watching The Rock on screen. Who doesn't, right? And Jesse Plemons, our boy. So 53 for me.
So The Rock's next film, Black Adam, I believe.
Red Notice.
Red Notice. Then yes, he just started. He just wrapped filming Black Adam.
Right, Black Adam's next year, right?
Red Notice with Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds. That's gonna be something that might make maybe a list that we have coming up with our top billing.
Possibly.
All right, let's jump to it. All right, Ricky Flicks. We have the top billing of most anticipated movies for the remainder of 2021. We did a most anticipated list at the beginning of the year. We've had a lot of those movies come out. We thought there's so many huge releases that got pushed back even later to 2021. Some of them pushed to 2022. We thought let's take the last last 5 months of the year, condense them, chock full of great titles. Let's list the most anticipated. It may not be more of a competitive one. It's just gonna be great discussion because we know we can talk about upcoming movies all day. That's
Of course.
you know it's all we do on the checkup. So let's do this, Ricky Flex. You have a coin on your Flex?
I do.
That might be easier than pulling out the spin cycle there.
Yeah. Call it in the air. It's in the air. It's heads.
It failed.
I
thought it would. Tails are never supposed to fail. So, Flex, you have any questions before we get into it?
Yeah.
I know it's
okay. So most anticipated films just in the year 2021. I guess, are we using films that are coming out that are out internationally right now at the box office?
So you're talking about Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just leave the Suicide Squad out because we already know it's getting rave reviews. And I think maybe we should have even talked about it in the checkup. It's already certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
I feel like we should leave that off because it's already here.
Okay. Good to know.
I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah, and I guess just since like there's so many movies that are getting delayed, and there's another one, I'll say it now, Blonde's delayed to 2022. So like, obviously, if I forget one got delayed, just like correct me or just like quickly Google it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be quick on the trigger here. So Ricky Flex, do you want to go first or second?
I'm going second. I want the snake on the first try.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go with Dune. I'm gonna lead off with Dune. I like that. I've been waiting for this movie, obviously, for basically 2 years at this point. We've had 2 trailers now, right? The second trailer, Big Fire. First trailer is Big Fire too, but it has me excited for Chalamet. I was just watching The King before we started doing this podcast, and dude, that movie bangs. And I just love Chalamet's performance in that movie. Commands the screen. He's playing like a warrior type character in this movie. And then obviously the cast is spectacular. I can't wait to see. I mean, where do I start? We had Duncan Idaho, was played by Jason Momoa. We can go Zendaya. We can go Stellan Skarsgård. We can go Dave Bautista. We can go Rebecca Ferguson. I could just like keep listing these names all day. Maybe the greatest, right there with another movie on this list. Maybe the best on screen, the best cast on paper that I've seen in quite some time. And then having Denis Villeneuve on this movie is going to be, it seems like it's right up his alley. Just look, if anyone has like any doubts about it, just watch him and with Blade Runner 2049. If he brings that same tone to this, which it kind of looks like, it's going to be spectacular. And the cinematography for this movie already looks like it's on point. Gotta be Dune. Ricky, was that your one pick?
So if we think about when we did this earlier this year, Nez had the first pick and he picked Dune. I think that's still my number. That's still I have like 3 that are worthy of number 1, I think. But I think the consensus from the movie world is that that's number 1. So I think that's the right pick.
It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts.
I just felt weird if I wasn't gonna take it. Right.
Denny doesn't miss, bro. I'm just gonna call him right now. Denny don't miss. That's all I'm gonna call him. Denny don't miss.
To be honest, I don't. I love
like,
it.
Denny don't miss. But and even like bangers. I watched Prisoners a couple weeks ago. Like that's one of the most rewatchable movies of recent memory for me. Like I can put that on at any point. And like as I said before, Chalamet. Like this is him with another. He's gonna appear in another major film this year. 2 that are probably going to appear on this list. Now I'm thinking about it.
No, for sure.
So he's a huge year ahead of him. He's going to be in 3 absolute, like it's looking like bangers. So
yeah, but I would say besides Christopher Nolan, my favorite, not best, my favorite directors, Denis Villeneuve is definitely top 5, maybe number 2. He literally just doesn't miss ever since like Prisoners, Enemies, Sicario, Arrival,
Jesus,
like
seeing that
2049,
like he has like that a little, it's like a bleak tone to his movies, but the cinematography is somehow always amazing. Like they're like Blade Runner has some like colorful moments, but somehow the cinematography is just always incredible for his movies. I love it, and he's frequent collaborator with Roger Deakins. I don't know if Deakins is
right.
I assume he's on Dune, right?
I actually don't know. I didn't think he was, but honestly, it looks so good. It might be him.
Yeah, it just looks like his work.
Right.
He did Blade Runner 2049. That's why I brought it up.
Right. And he did he win for that? He definitely won for that. That was too good. He had to.
I think he did.
Yeah. He won for He won for 1917 for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But like, if we had a top billing draft of Oscar snubs, if Freaky Deaky didn't win for Blade Runner 2049, that would have been on my top 5 list.
Yeah, and by the way, he's not
Man
for Dune. It's the guy who did Rogue One and Zero Dark 30 and Vice, Greg Fraser, who's also very
Greg Fraser. Yeah, that's a big name.
And he's doing a little movie next year called The Batman. Ever heard of it?
Watched the trailer 3 times today. Ricky Flex, you're up. Your first pick.
I am changing my number 1 overall to a movie called Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up, Christmas this year, Adam McKay movie. You mentioned Timothée Chalamet. He will be in this movie, but who's starring in it? My guy, Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence combining for this movie to go along with a cast of Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Matthew Perry, Ron Perlman, Cate Blanchett, Mark Rylance. Who else? Michael Chiklis, Ariana Grande, Tyler Perry,
Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi. Like the cast is ridiculous. This movie kind of a satire a little bit, I think, because it's about like 2 astronomers who are Jennifer Lawrence and Leo, who are going on this media tour to try to warn everybody of a asteroid that's going to ruin or destroy Earth. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be a typical Adam McKay style where it's going to be some comedic aspects in this drama. And I can't wait to see how Leo does with Adam McKay, because usually he obviously only works with like great directors, but I believe this is his first film he's doing with Adam McKay at the helm. So I'm really excited to see how he does with that. And I think it could change. Like this could be an Oscar contender and something that's more like, cause it's not like an action movie like Dune. So maybe this might have a leg up for an Oscar for Best Picture on that. So I'm going to go with Don't Look Up for the first pick for me.
Yeah, recently got that December release date. We said, I think, on 2 pods ago. So that's how you know, like, this is going to be big time. Obviously, you have DiCaprio in a movie. It's going to be okay. Like, it's an Oscar potential. Adam McKay is also, like, one of those directors now who's fully transformed, man. Fully transformed. He's gone from Anchorman and Ricky Bobby, and now he's working with Leonardo DiCaprio. So you love to see that, too. And so we talk about versatility. I think versatility is the theme of this episode, kid. Your second pick, though.
My second pick was number 1 on my big board. Last time we did this draft, it could be it's not my number 1 this time, but it could have been Spider-Man No Way From Home. I'm going, like, I know some people are more looking forward to Doctor Strange because of WandaVision, and Wanda obviously is going to have more of a sense in that movie, or more time in that movie, but someone that is a Spider-Man guy through and through. My favorite Marvel character probably is Spider-Man. And after the way that Spider-Man 2 Far From Home ended, I think this movie is setting up to be the best of the trilogy. And to mention the cast and the rumors, or let's just say the confirmations of Alfred Molina, Doc Ock coming back, Jamie Foxx's Electro coming back. You have the rumors of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire coming onto this movie. Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Like, you're having all the great villains, Doc Ock and Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin, coming back for this movie to go along with the previous Spider-Man. Someone that loves Spider-Man, man, I love this, and I am looking forward to this, and I think this is going to be unbelievable. As someone like yourself has said, this is like the next Captain America of the MCU, as this Tom Holland Spider-Man, and I think he's the star. I think he's the biggest star of Marvel going forward right now. And I think this is going to pave the way for the MCU going forward. I know Black Widow started phase 4, but Spider-Man is the star of phase 4. I'm really looking forward to this movie.
It's his time. He's the next Iron Man, bro. That was the line they said in Far From Home. But yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you. When this trailer drops, it's gonna be the most viewed trailer of all time. I think it's pretty clear, dude. Especially if it, like, I could see at the end, it's like panning. It pans to like Tobey Maguire's shadow or something, or Andrew Garfield's shadow, them together or something. Like, they don't even show their faces. But when this trailer drops, it's gonna be the most viewed thing of all time. It's a little concerning the trailer hasn't dropped. I think the trailer hasn't dropped because they're unsure about when this movie's going to release. It's going to push back a lot. Like, we have the Delta variant of COVID going around right now.
It has to come out in December.
I know
it can't get pushed,
or else you're disqualified from the draft. But like, it's really questionable that they haven't released a trailer yet. I think that's why.
It has to. The MCU is already pushed
Like,
off Phase 4 a year. They need to release this movie.
I would like, man, like I want to see this trailer, but maybe it has so much like intrigue right now. What if they just don't release a trailer? Just
Well,
don't.
they're going to, because they want to drive up views and
Right.
pump up
But
everything.
like, can you?
Like
Right.
it would be so
Yes,
much
it
better for
matters. But
us
like,
who like are really in tune with the MCU and Spider-Man and the rumors, that it would just be
right.
so much better if we could just like watch it for the first time, like you would in like a game 7 of an
Just have
NBA
no
NHL
idea.
final.
Like,
Yeah.
just it's just like garnering intrigue. Like they dropped the Batman trailer last year at DC Fandom, literally 2 years before the movie comes out. And due to like delays and pushbacks and everything, initially supposed to debut in June 2021.
Wait,
Having that pushed
was
back,
it?
but like,
I thought it
well,
was October.
yeah,
Was
I
it
believe
supposed to be
so.
June? Oh, okay, whatever. It
No,
doesn't
no, it
matter.
was. I thought I thought it was like June, then it got pushed to October, and
Oh,
then
it did it? Okay,
2022.
okay. Stay correct. Okay.
I think, yeah, it wasn't initially October. They changed it to like a Halloween release, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what was I saying now? All right. So I just think like it would be awesome if we just had no idea. And like the Batman, as I was saying, like that's like 2 years that you're building up this interest. So I think the trailer was the best thing that could have happened to that movie, even if it was because it came so early. You know,
And they announced
it
it the
was just like
same day. It was
I literally just said earlier this episode I watched it 3 times today. It popped on my
yeah.
Twitter. I just watched it 3 times.
And
So good.
on that same day, they said, "Oh, by the way, before you watch this, just we've only shot like 25% of this movie, so this trailer is basically for you guys."
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like the best trailer of all time. So,
And then like I think if theaters, I don't think they'll ever be at full force again, but this could like rival like Avenger Infinity War Endgame numbers, like if we have all 3 Spider-Men back for No Way Home.
Yeah,
All right.
hope so.
I am up. You took Don't Look Up and Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going to keep up with the Marvel train. I'll go Eternals. Chloe Zhao coming off a Best Director win at the Academy Awards for Nomadland. Great visionary. It seems like we're getting something different with Eternals. A stacked cast. So I think a lot of the commonalities of all 4 of our movies they boast excellent, like huge casts, literally huge names, but also just like a lot of people involved.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's a return of the Stark brothers, right? Or Jon Snow and Richard Madden coming back together. I'm excited to see Gemma Chan. I recently watched Crazy Rich Asians, and I sometimes watch. I watch that. I would say like once every couple months. I really
It's
enjoy
on a
that
lot.
movie. I love her. Yeah, and like I think this is going to be like a breakthrough role for her. I know Kevin Feige has said she's going to be basically the lead in this movie, even though it's such a huge ensemble. And I can't wait to see what the impact is going to have on the MCU. How does Loki kind of play into Eternals? Because like obviously the finale for Loki should play into everything going forward for the MCU. It's going to make it hard on those writers, but they'll figure it out. It's their job. They can lean on the comics. But Eternals looks like it's like a brighter Dune. It's like a brighter Dune. I'm looking at cinematography wise. It's just more like vibrant Dune, you know. But yeah, I'm psyched. It's gonna be sick.
Kit Harington back in the limelight.
Yeah, dude. Welcome back, Kit. Welcome back. Did you see he was at that UFC event with
Yeah,
Weiss and Benioff?
Yeah,
the writers of Game of Thrones.
I was wondering why he would do that. Like, like, come on now. Like, I'm really intrigued.
They're just buds, I guess.
Are they though?
It's such a public event. Was that the McGregor fight?
I think. Yeah, I thought it was. Unless it was something else. I thought it was the McGregor one. McGregor Poirier 3.
All right. So that's my third pick. Oh, my second pick. Excuse me. I'm now going to go on to my third pick. I got 2 like franchise movies, so I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to go with The Guilty, with Jake Gyllenhaal, Paul Dano. I get this movie has been one I've circled. I know Riley Coe is also in this movie, along with Bill Burr and Ethan Hawke. How are you? Massive cast, massive, and Peter Sarsgaard. This movie is I initially thought it was a series. I think I drafted this like a most anticipated. I think most anticipated Netflix projects. I don't think it's a Netflix project though.
No, I
think we just drafted this for most anticipated movies. I believe.
I thought we talked about it when we did Gyllenhaal versus Gosling.
Well, I'll say maybe. We did talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
something with The Guilty. I remember having this discussion before, but it's a movie that's not being talked about at all. We haven't gotten a trailer for it. We talked about the cast, directed by Antoine Fuqua, right? Talking about Training Day, right? And then also written by Nick Pizzolatto, right? If you know that name, think True Detective season 1, all right? So he did all 3 seasons of True Detective. Obviously, we look down on season 2, but I think there's something special like brewing here that no one's really talking about. Jake Gyllenhaal, he's on the search for that Oscar. He talk about a man who doesn't miss rarely. Interested to see if he'll kind of go into No Way Home too for Spider-Man if he comes back at all. And then it's kind of a power duo with Ethan Hawke and Jake Gyllenhaal, and then you have Paul Dano. Paul Dano is coming with fury these next 2 years with The Guilty, and then also we have the Batman, where he's the lead villain as the Riddler, and I think that's maybe my most anticipated movie ever of all time. That's my most anticipated that's ever been.
Right.
We've talked about it enough today for a movie that's not even available to be picked. But I assume you're pumped for The Guilty too.
Pumped. I would say so. I was kind of spotting this for the 5th round, but I would say this would have been when we did this draft before. You would have picked it in the right spot because it was before Infinite came out, the movie with Mark Wahlberg, and 12 Years a Slave star. Doc, help me out.
What are you talking about?
12 Years a Slave star.
Lead?
Yeah.
Chiwetel Ejiofor?
Thank you. But yeah, so that movie was just a hot garbage. So I think that, but no one saw it because it's on Paramount Plus. So maybe that helped it. But obviously, I'm the Jake Gyllenhaal, huge fan of Jake Gyllenhaal, and Antoine Fuqua will give something that will be entertaining to watch. And with this cast, it'll be hard to miss on this cast.
I definitely I could have waited a long time to get this pick. I'm looking at there's so many good movies coming out this year, with so many talented filmmakers and obviously stars. But I just wanted Jake Gyllenhaal in his next film. I think he's really gonna bring in The Guilty, and I think
cannot blame you there.
I mean, he's on that search for the Oscar, man. I think he's on his way. But you're up now you're now up with your 3rd pick.
All right, my 3rd pick, I'll go. Soggy Bottom. I'm really looking forward to this. It's Paul Thomas Anderson movie, directing and writing, and Bradley Cooper starring in it, and set in the 70s, where it's following a high school student who's a successful child actor. Mm-hmm. And Bradley Cooper, obviously, he's been doing some great films the past 10 years. And I think he was robbed. We mentioned earlier, he did a great job in A Star Is Born. I think he should have won Best Actor over Rami Malek in that. That's a separate conversation.
I think so too.
Thank you. But I really think that he's trying now working with Paul Thomas Anderson. I really think both of them are really trying to get more critically acclaimed with Oscars, because last Paul Thomas Anderson film was
more Prestige.
Prestige, because obviously they're two of the best in their craft, but they don't have those Oscars to back them up. And if you look at Paul Thomas Anderson, he had Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis's last role, which I watched and was shocked about how much I liked it, because it's about a guy making dresses.
It's right.
Wait, what are you gonna say?
The content, that's the type of movie where you would assume I will never watch this. And
right.
If I do watch it, I'll turn it off. But then you watch it, and you're like, damn, Paul Thomas
so good.
When you were watching Daniel Day-Lewis so dresses, you're like, dang, this you're working with a great actor and director if you're actually locked in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's he's sewing dresses, and this is his last role. He's given us this as his last role, but then you watch it, it's holy crap, this movie is actually really, really good. But so he hasn't done anything since then, I believe. So I'm really looking forward to this project, and he's done so many other great films in the past, and I think his best is There Will Be Blood. But what movie came out that year that kind of stole the show from him? Obviously, No Country for Old Men. So
yeah, tough.
I really think this could be one where, in the stacked movie year where we're doing 2 most anticipated drafts, maybe he could try to climb the ladder and get an Oscar. And same with Bradley Cooper.
Right. And I like Soggy Bottom. I know it's not the official title. That's one that they're kind of keeping under wraps right now. It could be the official title. They might just confirm it, but that's what they're working with. That's the working title, apparently. Good. Right. And then Benny Safdie. Benny Safdie's
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Benny
For those who
Safdie.
don't know, Good Time, also director of Good Time with his brother, Josh Safdie, and they also directed Uncut Gems. So and they
Right.
recently signed a deal with HBO.
Yes, and I was gonna say he was in Pieces of a Woman with Vanessa
Was he?
Kirby earlier this year
Benny
in Shia
Safdie
LaBeouf.
was?
Yeah,
Wow.
he was like Vanessa Kirby's like sister's husband or something. Really small role.
He's pulling a Tarantino a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But he's just having way more screen time. But
right.
I was gonna say you're up with your fourth pick.
Yeah, and then I think this has to be picked. House of Gucci.
Yeah. I honestly should have picked that instead of the guilty.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna pick that, and I know we talked about it a lot, so I don't want to harp on it, but I think that's more than well deserving of getting picked.
Yeah, and we talked about the trailer a lot. Like it looks like it's gonna be big fire.
Right.
All right, now it's to me for my fourth pick. I have my non-franchise pick now. I might go back to a franchise right now for No Time to Die. I'm gonna go No Time to Die. Like yeah. So like that is, I'm going back to the franchises, but I mean we've talked about this movie out countless times on this podcast. Daniel Craig's final run. The status of James Bond is very much up in the air following the acquisition of MGM to Amazon. Yes, thank you.
8.5 billion.
Jesus. So I don't know how this is going to pan out after Daniel Craig, but I know that they are thinking this movie is going to be like $1 billion movie, and I think it like they want it to be, especially Daniel Craig's last run. I know Skyfall hit $1 billion. I think Spectre was around $800-900 million. So they're looking for this last run. You put Ana de Armas in the mix. You got Rami Malek as the villain. Still not sold on Rami Malek, by the way, even though with that Oscar win. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go No Time to Die with my fourth pick. What do you think about it?
I know you're saying Spider-Man No Way From Home might break records here of box office numbers, and obviously any Marvel movie that we've mentioned, like Eternals here, or even like a franchise or future franchise, as in with Dune or something like that, action movies. But No Time to Die, like that has a obvious audience with James Bond and will always get numbers to the box office, and that could be the highest grossing movie if it comes out at the right time. So, and also Daniel Craig's last run, my favorite Bond of all time. I cannot wait for this movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be special. And with my final pick, I'm torn between two.
I think I know which two you're torn between.
One is also a franchise type. It's kind of like a franchise, and the other one is just a very quality film director, like one of the best of his generation. I think you know what two I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're gonna take the other one. So let's compare our list for a sec. I know I said I wasn't gonna make this a competition. I think this one's just more of a conversation, but man, I'm gonna go with
Shang-Chi.
Should I go with my gut, or should I go with should I go with this is like I'm most what I think to be the better movie, or like just like one I'm looking forward to see more? That's I'm kind of torn between.
I think the way I'm kind of approaching this is like, hey, you only have like 2 hours in your day or 2.5 hours in your day to see a movie at the theaters.
Many Saints in Newark.
Okay.
Many Saints in Newark's gonna be my pick. I'm a big Sopranos guy. You're a big Sopranos guy. I recently started rewatching season 1, so now I'm gonna try and go through it and get there in time. I know we're gonna do a review with our cousins. They're huge Sopranos fans. They're gonna hop on for Many Saints in Newark. We're gonna watch it at our cousin's barbecue spot at Hoodoo Brown. If you haven't been there, Ridgefield, Connecticut, best barbecue not only in the state, in the country. I would say, very high quality barbecue. If you that's an ad for you.
Free ad for once.
Yeah. So Many Saints in Newark, just seeing like young Tony played by Michael Gandolfini. And then you have obviously Corey Stahl playing Uncle June. Then you have John Bernthal playing Tony's dad. Like there's like the cast is great. The trailer got me more excited. I wasn't sold on this idea of this movie. A lot of times, the last time HBO took a show, they made a movie out of it. It was the Entourage movie. That was just a heaping pile of garbage, even though I'll watch it anytime it's on. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Many Saints in Newark. I'm expecting, and they have a later release date for this one. Like, are we thinking awards potentially? I know we got David Chase back with the pen, so it should be quality.
Man, you're thinking awards for Many Saints in Newark?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
Sopranos is one of the most prestigious shows of all time.
David Chase is like one of the best like showrunners of all time
Like
for obvious reasons, but
I wouldn't say like it's likely to get nominated for
okay.
anything, but I think it's like I think there's a slight chance. Many Saints, and after seeing that trailer,
Yeah, yeah.
it seems like it might be more of like a box office movie. To
Mhm.
be honest, especially like I think of last time HBO did a movie, it was the Entourage movie. It was so bad.
Oh God.
And and that was an unnecessary movie. This is a prequel, like talking about Tony's origins, one of the most iconic TV characters of all time. So like I love that. So I'm going with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also looking forward to this movie. Leslie Odom Jr. Leslie Odom Jr. I don't know if you mentioned him too, but he's also in this movie. But yeah, great pick.
You're up with your final pick, Flex, to round out the draft.
Okay. I'm torn between 3. I've taken away 1. So I'll tell you, I'm not going to pick Nightmare Alley. And
man, I forgot about that one too. I think I drafted that one at the beginning of the year.
You did. I'm trying. I don't want to pick one. I already picked, but
Guilty was such a mistake.
Dude, like Jake G in a movie, like
Paul Dano.
Can't blame you.
I think it's more because of Paul Dano.
Oh, Paul Dano. Oh my God. Love and Mercy as well. Great movie. Okay. Back to my pick here. I'll go with an honor of our missing co-host. I'll pick Last Night in Soho. His favorite director, Edgar Wright. I'll pick him for him. And obviously, who's in this movie? Anya Taylor-Joy, coming off a Heater and Queen's Gambit. Looking forward to this movie a lot. The trailer came out. Crazy trailer. I don't understand everything going on, but it does look like it's something that I'm very interested in, even though I don't know what's going on in it. So give me that.
See, like it's taken on like different tones. It's almost like a promising young woman, like where it's like you don't know what to think about it, and then like has the horror vibe too. It definitely. I would just say it's a thriller for sure. It's gonna be. It's gonna
right.
Be,
it's it gonna does. Be nutty. It does seem like a Jordan Peele type thing, but with Edgar Wright's spin on it.
Similar tone for sure. Mm-hmm. No, I like that. Yeah, I like that's not the one I was thinking of, but I can't believe
there's the other one I was gonna say that I was toying with was French Dispatch.
Yeah, that was the one that I should have took that instead of The Guilty.
Well, the reason why I didn't pick that is because French Dispatch, like Wes Anderson, like as great as he is, like some of his movies just like don't fit my like what I like, you know,
right?
Like Moonrise Kingdom,
he's a little too quirky for me. Like
sometimes he's like Grand Budapest Hotel, I think is one of the best movies of the 2010s. But like then you have like Moonrise Kingdom, which just like that didn't like work for me. That
didn't do it for you.
And French Dispatch, like we saw that leaked clip of Chalamet and Frances McDormand together, and we saw like that trailer as well. But it's like, you know what? Like I don't know. Like Wes Anderson is not a guarantee for me that I'm gonna like. He's a guarantee that'll be good, like critically. But I don't know for me. And this is my most anticipated movies, so that's why I went with Last Night in Soho over that one.
And I was thinking like French Dispatch, like that, like when I think of Wes Anderson movies, I typically have a positive reaction to them, but not always. A lot, if you talk to a true like Wes Anderson fan, you ask them their favorite movie, they're likely to say Rushmore. Like Rushmore is a huge movie with Wes Anderson fans, and personally, I'm really not a big fan of it. I'm not a big Jason Schwartzman guy. You know who Jason Schwartzman's mother is?
No,
Talia Shire. You know that? That's crazy.
God, that is nuts.
You might have to fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure. But Rushmore is a little creepy. Like just the concept of it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
But the cast is phenomenal. Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favorite movies of the past 10 years for sure.
You were right, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I just you don't think of that at all. Good. So let me just run through the list one more time, then we'll go through a couple more honorable mentions. Okay. So Dr. O has Dune, Eternals, The Guilty, No Time to Die, and then The Many Saints of Newark. Ricky Flicks has taken Don't Look Up, Spider-Man No Way Home, Soggy Bottom, House of Gucci, and Last Night in Soho. All right. Those are the 10 films selected. I wish we had Nez on this one because this is such a rich movie back half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked about French Dispatch, but what was another one that you had that didn't get drafted?
Okay, another one I had. Well, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah,
Top Gun Maverick, like it's Top Gun, Tom Cruise.
That movie's gonna be unreal in theaters.
Yeah.
Unreal. I'm gonna make sure I have the best seat in the house, smack
Dolby
that center in the back.
go in a Dolby theater. Maybe I might do that. That'd be sick with the planes.
I usually don't buy tickets like right when they go on sale. I usually like, okay, it's like if the movie comes out Thursday, I'll get it Wednesday night. If it's like an Avenger movie or something, like I'll do that. This one, when it goes on sale, it said tickets are available like a month ahead. I'll be like, okay, let's go, Top Gun, buy it now.
Right.
Like, that's gonna be so sick. And then I think this is gonna be the return to glory for Miles Teller. Return to glory.
I hope so. He's also in Escape from Spiderhead with Chris Hemsworth coming out this year as well. So like that might also be like a return for him. That's a Netflix movie though, so that's not. And I don't know who's directing that, which I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but can't be great.
I don't know if I trust it. It's just so it's an action movie starring two major stars that is not being discussed whatsoever. So it makes
and you don't see them like in like together ever.
So
like there's no chemistry that you know of.
I've seen one still, I think, of that movie, and it was just them on a boat.
Yeah. Right. I know what picture you're talking about now.
But the concept of that movie is pretty cool, though.
Yeah, escaping prison.
No, well, they have to go through this like this trial where they get injected with something, and if they go through this trial, they get a shortened prison sentence, almost like suicide.
Oh, okay.
So
that's weird.
It's an interesting concept. So it makes me think like there could be superhuman abilities going on here. I honestly have no idea. It's probably based on. It sounds like a book.
It does sound like
sounds like a book. Right?
Yeah,
it sounds like one you find like just like at like Barnes and Noble when you walk in, like like see like coming in theaters that have the sticker on it.
Right. Yes.
And I had Free Guy.
Okay. Wow.
I was never gonna draft it. Like, okay. But I am like the fact that they're pushing the release date for this movie so much. I think they're anticipating it's going to be a hit. So it makes
so many ads for it. I'm a little afraid from the amount of ads.
Right, and like I love Ryan Reynolds, and he said this is. I think he said like this is his favorite movie he's ever done. I'm pretty sure I read a quote there. He said that. I was just like, man, like he's
Deadpool.
He's done Deadpool. You know, it was like that was his passion project, but he had a lot of fun making Free Guy, and it looks like a fun movie. Just popcorn movie, but I was never gonna draft it. What else we have here?
That's August 13th, by the way.
August 13th. Yeah, it's coming up. We got a couple weeks here. Don't Worry, Darling, Olivia Wilde movie. I had on my.
I drafted that before.
Florence Pugh, Harry Styles, right? Her boyfriend.
Jesus.
Stolen from
Ted Lasso season 2. Watch it in honor for Jason Sudeikis.
He just is Ted Lasso now. Just like
he's that good.
I think he's like that committed to it.
Yeah.
Card counter. We talked about the card counter today. Oscar Isaac matching up against Willem Dafoe. I love that combo. I'm thinking of like Willem Dafoe bounces off any actor so well. So like I think about him in The Lighthouse, that one-on-one with him and Pattinson. Now he's going one-on-one, him and Oscar Isaac. Obviously bigger ensemble here. It's not just a 2-person movie, but definitely looking forward to that one too. What else you got?
Okay, I'll just do a big list here. I think if there weren't any allegations against Ansel Elgort, then West Side Story would have been drafted.
I think that looks fire. I think
looks incredible.
Polarizing trailer just because Ansel Elgort's in it, but like,
right,
dude,
looks incredible.
That movie just screams cinema in my face.
Yeah, Spielberg's like, this is cinema.
It's like you see like the Jets and the Sharks, right? You see the shadows of them coming up against one another, almost like a modern.
And then you have like the Maria scene at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, it looks like,
but no song. Like they didn't tease the song at all and how they sound.
It looks like it's not set in present day. It looks modernized, but like I can't really get a vibe on like when the time period is. I really don't know.
Oh, for me, it looked like it just
60s,
because obviously you think West Side Story, the original, like it like on screen on a TV. Obviously, it was made like it was long ago. But I think here, like it's obviously the same time period. It just looks so good, like the cinematography and everything. Is just we have the technology, so.
We have technology.
So looking forward to that one. Another one, correct me if I'm wrong, but Matrix 4. That's coming out this year.
Is it?
Is it not?
No way. I don't know.
Did that get pushed?
I'm gonna check right now.
Okay, well, quickly while you're checking, I'll just say another one.
2021, December 16th. Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't. I don't know if I'm excited for that just because it's been forever.
Keanu's on a heater.
Yeah, he's on a bender.
Yeah.
He's on a bender, dude. He's wasted, dude. He's like, he can't control himself. He's so good right now. Yeah, so like Matrix 4, like I wasn't sold on Matrix 2 and 3. Maybe after stepping away, maybe they're gonna come up with something great for the fourth one. And there's a
And
lot of
Keanu, like he's just doing so many good
and
movies right
Yaya,
now.
him and
And
Yaya.
yeah. Like, why would
Young
Yaya say yes
Morpheus.
to this? Like, why would he say yes to this? Because it's gonna be good. Like
Yeah,
him
Young
and Keanu
Morpheus.
together. All right, sorry, your turn. Go.
I'm almost done. Candyman. That looks
Yeah.
like produced by Jordan Peele. Nia DaCosta, I believe, is directing. Looks
August
great.
27th.
And then I had for the last one, this will wrap it up for me. Like The Harder They Fall, the Western, starting Jonathan Majors, Regina King, Idris Elba, like it's and then Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. It looks like that's going to be a really cool, different take on a Western. So I'm pumped for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that definitely different take. I'm looking forward to that one as well. And then I'll just do a huge rundown here. King Richard, that trailer came out. Will
Good
Smith
trailer.
going for an Oscar right there. Power of the Dog, we mentioned on the Netflix draft.
Yeah,
You drafted it. Benedict Cumberbatch, Jesse Plemons, our Plump Boy, his wife Kirsten Dunst. Then let's see, Last Duel we mentioned earlier with the Ridley Scott trailer, obviously huge. Eyes of Tammy Faye I wanted to mention because we had the trailer.
I'm out on that. Too much makeup.
I agree, but I'm just intrigued. I wasn't going to draft it. I just wanted to bring it up just so we can.
I like Jessica Chastain a lot. I'm a big Jessica Chastain fan.
And I know that's coming out September 17th. And I don't know if because a lot of movies are coming, like Cry Macho, the Clint Eastwood movies come out the same day.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if we'll review either one of those. But
we needed another guy for this draft. There's too many movies here. It's a lot.
But yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for me.
Fun draft, Ricky Flex. All right. So that's gonna wrap up this episode of the Drive-In Podcast. Thank you for listening. Please leave us a review wherever you're listening and then rate us 5 stars, please. And after you rate us 5 stars, why don't you do us a favor and screenshot it and then tweet it at us at the Drive-In Pod, or just post on your Insta story and then tag us. We'll repost your story. All right. Show us love. We'll show you love. Right. That does it for this episode of the Drive-In Podcast. Until next time, we will smell ya.